What up, y'all? It's FTKComputer. Welcome back to another horror movie review. I haven't done this in a long time. I think the last time I did a horror movie review, and the only time I did one was with Us. But as a fan of Ari Aster's Hereditary, I felt like this would be a good movie to kind of come back and bring this series back. This summer there's going to be a lot of horror movies out, and I figured, might as well just start it again. So for you guys who are not familiar with my channel, this is a gaming channel, but I am a horror fanatic. And so I go watch almost all the horror movies, and a lot of times in the comments people will ask me what I thought about this horror movie or that horror movie. So I decided to just turn it into a video series where I'll just give you my thoughts on horror movies that come out. So it's a real chill, laid back review. I'm not gonna really go into things super in depth. I'm just gonna give my thoughts and opinions and tell you whether I think you should go see it or not. And yeah, so let's just get started. So Midsommar is about a girl named Danny who is in kind of a not so great relationship, and she goes through something traumatic. And so her boyfriend at the time is going on a trip to Sweden with some of his friends / classmates, and invites Danny along because he feels bad for her. And they're going to, a midsummer festival. One of their classmates, he's from a small village, and they celebrate, and he's like, it's a crazy festival, come, there's dressing ups and ceremonies, and you'll have fun, And so Danny comes along as kind of like the fifth or sixth wheel. I don't know how many people go on the trip. And once they get there, they see that the festival is not as normal and not as normal as they think. So if you've seen the trailer, you know that shit starts popping off and it gets very strange. So what I liked about this movie, I really think that it's one of those movies that when you leave it, you will definitely be thinking about it for a while. It makes you think. It's a great movie to have conversations about after you see it. It definitely was entertaining. There's a pretty long runtime. It's like 2.5 hours, I believe, but I did not feel bored, even though sometimes it may have dragged a little bit. I didn't lose interest in the what was going on. So yeah, I was very interested. I thought the cinematography was great. The acting was great. The shots, some of I'm a fan of gore. I'll let you know now. If you're not a gore person, then you may want to ignore this part. But I loved the scenes that were very gory. I thought were done I thought it was well done. It made me gasp a little bit, and that's hard to do. So I was very satisfied with that. Critiques for the movie, I'm okay with the slow burn, and I feel like this is definitely a slow burning kind of movie. But I feel like certain things we know happened or we're told happened, but we don't actually get to see it happen. And I felt like maybe some of the things that happened we should have seen, or they could have at least given us more than just oh, this happened. And that kind of disappointed me a little bit. Also, I feel like some of the characters made stupid were kind of, I don't want to say they were stupid, but they were a little bit too trusting or too naive. And I think watching this movie, some of the times I was like, oh, they're so stupid. Personally, that annoyed me a little bit. I thought that it would have been more interesting to see, what had transpired if these people didn't just believe whatever they were told, or are just we're oh, this is normal, oh, let's just go along with it. I feel like people that were not in a movie would not do this, but they were very oh, well, I guess that's just how things go here. And I'm no. So I'm trying not to give too much, trying not to give anything away, so because that might sound confusing, but I think if you see the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, I like when people make smart decisions in horror movies. That's just my personal thing. I think we've seen so much of the dumb horror movie, what's it called, victims that die in stupid ways, or like run into a door, a locked closet and hide, even though it's like the only, like, that kind of stuff does bother me personally, and I'm like, sometimes I do want to see like people act a little bit smarter. Like, and if the horror, if the people in the horror movie are smarter, then that makes the the villains, quote unquote, the villains, or whoever's evil in the movie should be a little bit smarter. And I think that's good writing is for. Not saying that this movie was badly written. I'm just saying that personally that kind of annoyed me, and that may annoy you if you get like people doing stupid shit and you're like, why, come on, don't be dumb. But yeah, overall, I will say, if you are okay with seeing a movie that is slow burning, like there's not like crazy action, or like if you're a fan of like the Conjuring universe, like I am for the most part, there's usually like a big climax at the end where the good is facing off against the evil. Like, you're not gonna get that here. This is not, I wouldn't even consider this personally a horror movie. Like, it falls under the umbrella of horror, definitely, because horrific things happen. But this is, I'd say this is more of a suspense, not even a thriller, a suspense fantasy. Let's go with that, like a fantasy suspense movie, a suspense fairy tale, if that makes sense. So definitely for me, Midsommar was a hit. I enjoyed it. Was it my favorite movie in the world? No, but I'm glad I saw it in theaters. I thought it was really beautiful to see in theaters. And I had a good time watching it with a friend, and we had a great conversation about it afterwards. There's some interesting themes here in this movie about like, oh my gosh, there were so many, honestly, like how we deal with grief, how we deal with relationships that are not working out. Trusting people. Trust was an important thing in this movie, and how we trust people. Yeah, it was just a very interesting movie. I would definitely say go see it. Just if you're not a fan of gore, and if you are not a fan of the slow burn, then you may want to miss it. But if you are like me, a horror fanatic, and you just like all kinds of horror, then I think you'll get something from this movie. It's not the most exciting movie in the world. It's not exciting, but it's still a really good movie. So that's my thoughts on Midsommar. If you're interested in seeing it, let me know if you've seen it. Please don't put any spoilers unless you say spoilers ahead, and then like scroll all the way down and then write the comment so it doesn't pop up. I'm definitely happy to talk about the movie in the comments section. So yeah, let me know what you thought about Midsommar, and I will see you guys later. Peace.